The first map we're going to be showing you guys today is New York City. Dion, what kind of map is this?
New York
Alright, this is the
map,
first one. I'm
so
going
a
back.
brand new hybrid map for Overwatch 2.
Starting from the beginning.
Fun new payload for players to battle over. The world building team had a great time just creating this Overwatch depiction of New York. There's tons of neat details and fun Easter eggs for the players to find. So I think it should be fun to take a look at this.
Yeah, no, when you guys showed this at BlizzCon Line, I was so excited. Obviously from New York myself, would love to see the myth.
There's less protection coming from tank players just to directly block bullets for their team. Typically, we'll find a lot more player on the map corners, map angles. Often people going for cheeky flanks and stuff. Yeah, Dion loves this.
Yeah, they get to use the environment a lot more. It's a bit more tactical. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is great.
So it kind of, that was one of the first things that came out of our original playtesting, and we were just like, this is a really good direction. I mean, like I mentioned, there's like, as a designer, you sort of have to look past the immediate problems in front of you and like, okay, we can fix those. Like, I think we can address, some of the tank imbalances and healing issues and all kinds of other stuff. But at the heart of this was really cool, and so that's really what we've been focusing on and working through these problems.
I think something that's really interesting about that too is that the gameplay is more fluid than it was before.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times in Overwatch you get these really hard battle lines that get drawn between the two teams, and there's just less damage incoming, and so you're able to kind of move around a little bit more, and you'll see it here a lot of times. The chokes aren't as hard of a space to get through. There's still a choke in the map and you still have to work at it, but there can be a lot more like pushing through and pulling back on the choke, and it's something that
so they do still have captured
personally really excited about.
The other two maps I saw didn't have a capture point.
The 5v5 move affected map design. I feel like it kind of has to have a huge impact on what you guys are able to do, create different, speaking about like players, a huge impact on what you guys are able to do.
Yeah, it's 2 fire strikes now. That's kind of cool.
Like, players being able to take more control of the game, right? Creating more flanking routes, more opportunity for the Ashe to go to the side, get a pick, and open things up for a team.
Yeah, there's a lot more opportunity for players to do that, but at the same time, when you go for a flank, you're not leaving 5 players behind. You're leaving 4 players behind, and so.
Oh, he's charging it for a blast.
These decisions in your head. The game is just as.
Oh, this is fire.
Before, if not more so, because of the.
I might keep this in the video and make it our own video.
Such a large impact on the match. I think for map design, we've always been really careful to make spaces that feel good just for one hero. And sometimes we might favor particular heroes in different areas, but because of that, because we're able to make a space that kind of feels good for Reaper or a space that feels good for Pharah, I think that we'll still be able to play 5v5 on all of the original catalog of Overwatch maps as well.
Right. That is a awesome payload, Dion, by the way.
And we've always, in the artwork of the maps, we've always placed what we consider cover objects. It just feels now with the 5v5, players will take advantage of that more. Even the previous maps, we planned cover objects to help protect players. Now with 5v5, they're even more effective, these artistic choices.
It's such a great point too, because we have started placing a little bit more cover in our maps. And if you go back to some of the old maps, like if you look at King's Row, that middle section, that street section of King's Row, there's one piece of cover.
King's Row,
in
that's
that entire section.
Yes.
It's just corners of buildings is what you're using.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think you can kind of see it here, even with stuff like that. I know the taxis here in the streets, you have the little kind of windows, the pillar to hide behind in the middle. There's a route through the subway. There's so many different kind of angles you can take. Something we saw at BlizzCon Line was the 2 fire strike, charge, cancel Reinhardt. I noticed something before, Jeff, when we were on with Winston. My Winston on live not able to shoot at range. Can you explain that to us a little bit?
So yeah, I was wondering if people picked up on that. So we were first watching Winston there. This is an example of some of the tank changes we're talking about in regards to 5v5, but also a larger change we're talking about making tanks.
His landing looks better
a lot more aggressive, be able to
Just looks
be a little more
cleaner.
heavy on the damage side and less just raw protection. So on Winston's side, he's ulting right now. Unfortunately, you can't see it, but he can't do it while he's ulting. But his alternate fire there, which he's doing right now, there it is. You can charge up like a condensed blast of lightning from his gun and fire it off as a single sort of like blast attack at longer range. And so he actually, the charge up is kind of interesting with it for him because you could do it while you're leaping, and so there's like theoretically more burst combos you can do where you're jumping on top of somebody, charge up there, and burst, release it right before you land on them, and then you get the stomp damage too, and you can shock them or do a quick melee combo. It's a lot more interesting things. On top of the fact that, with some players know a lot of times you're shock somebody, they're getting away, you think you can finish them, and they just fair abuse away, or somebody just barely gets away, you get that extra alternate fire shot to try to take him out on the way. And it's actually interesting playing against him now because you now are cognizant of that. So sometimes you're leaving a little earlier, like, well, I'm going to get blasted probably if I just like run away. So I have to be able to survive that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the decisions all Winston players face. It's like, okay, I've jumped on this player, I've gotten them weak. I can either now get out of my bubble and try to finish them off, or just kind of hope a teammate does. But now giving him, I think it kind of goes back to more like that player, agency that you were talking about, being able to kind of take over the game, being able to finish it off. The nano boosted Ryan, this will never get old. Just seeing Reinhardt nano boosted, just swinging. I'm sure it makes the fans out there happy that I know that was a Dragon Blade, a Gelton Genji he was able to take out. It's kind of the bane of existence of a lot of people. But this looks like, I guess, the second checkpoint, right? So this will unlock the interior
of Grand Central Station.
Oh, this is awesome. So it goes in. So the payload kind of goes inside of the station.
Saying
and
Overwatch teams are going to release in
curves
2021.
around, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And you can see the payload is driven by Omnic, who is
Diablo 4
a little Easter egg to our production
will not be releasing in 2021. Interesting.
So you got a name.
Yes, Chaco.
He's going to be a fan favorite.
No, this is still probably going to change, but that's good.
I thought it was like an
Give him more time to improve.
Like, oh yeah, Chaco. No, he's got the suit.
Our executive producer said he's helped us out a
I like
lot.
what they got going on. I love the Mercy HUD right there. That looks nice.
This
is going to be interesting.
Well, so he helped out a lot.
I don't know.
So,
and we have countless debates about the right type of pizza with him.
If that's the case, I won't.
Yeah, I mean, New York style pizza is.
No, they just talk about pizza. I probably
I believe it's
will watch the rest of the gameplays because it's still fairly early.
Different stream.
Yeah, you really want to get into this?
My thoughts on the.
Oh shit! I had that up the whole time.
Creating the better pizza dough. You also notice, at least I noticed, the new sounds, especially when like Ash shoots. That is something that it was discussed at BlizzCon Line, but I think it's different to kind of see it in action and also to see all of the other players at the same time with those audio changes. It just makes the game feel even more realistic.
Yeah, the sounds can get really punchy, and it just feels good to hold the trigger down with these different heroes. But you also get more information from it. So we've spent a lot of time not just developing what these sounds are, but how they play in different environments. So we've kind of upgraded the entire sound system across the game. So let's say when that Ash is in a side room firing from that room, you really kind of understand where they're at and what type of environment that they're in better than you did before. And then you can kind of take that information and make different decisions or additional decisions because of it.
All right, so we got a map complete from the offense here. Not bad. Not bad in their first go. The players are so competitive. I have to say this to the stream that we were like, yeah, this is fun. Like, everybody have a great time. And then everyone's like, put your SR in the chat. We're gonna make Ben's team. Like, who's playing what? It's just, I feel like it's just the nature of Overwatch, right? Like, it always starts off, yeah, let's play for fun, and then you lose a game. You're like,
this makes me want to get back into it, man.
Pick it up. Like, let's change things.
It's like that meme when you're playing, relaxing in your chair, and then you lose, and you lean forward, get a little more, get the game win posture.
It's those nights of ranked where you lose like 2, and you're like, you win 1, and then you're like, all right, play to lose, and then you lose a few more, and then the next thing you know, you wake up, and you're like, well, why'd I do that? Like 500 SR down the drain. That's so this will be an opportunity to see like Roadhog has a solo tank coming in for the offensive side here. I feel like he's just gonna be even on live, right? He just takes up so much space, Jeff. Like, and he takes up space not with a shield, but like just his body. As I say that,
yeah, it definitely seems like they're only going 2 healers, 2
about,
DPS, and 1 tank. I guess it's role lock.
World Diva even Zarya. I know there's some interesting stuff with Zarya as a solo tank.
Yeah, so like I said before,
yeah, I get it. So that's cool.
But like, because once we started going to 1 tank, it was sort of the big question was like, kind of what direction are we pushing tanks now? Are we going? We're trying to make Roadhog, you know, a lot more static defensively and have, you know, big barriers or something to protect his team, or do we want more the opposite? We're like to take the Reinhardts and the Rissas and Sigmas and actually.
This Zarya's a problem. This Zarya's a problem. Y'all better do something with her, bro. Help you Reinhardt just melting the shield. Y'all ain't doing nothing to the Zarya. Y'all already broke the shield. Might as well keep shooting. Fuck it.
But you know, a lot of what people had a lot of comments on in the past when the metas get too full of barriers and shields, and honestly, even sometimes when there's just, you know, the one Orisa blocking you with just the chain shields, and it's just like, you know, people had comments like, oh, I feel like I'm shooting shields all the time, which so like we were definitely hearing all that, and you could see some of the balance changes we made in the past in the live game and been trying to address this, but once we got into this situation, we're like, oh, this is sort of an opportunity actually here to reduce.
This Zarya is carrying,
and you know, we still want them to be there and present and be important, and you can still block huge abilities. They still have a decent amount of health, but you know, less than they had before. But then in response to that, you can see Reinhardt here. He hit the wall right there. He didn't cancel it. You can cancel your charge, and you can get two fire strikes.
So they're making
charge is one of those like
they're giving the tanks less health, but
like, to some people might be kind of a
more
minor
offensive.
Change, but it almost like completely changes how he plays a lot of ways. It's actually really fun because you can
or abilities to help their offense.
It has a really fast recovery when you cancel, so you can like charge up to a group and then cancel and immediately ult. And just,
I think firing at shields is fine though, as long
the
as
fact that
like
you can even do that, it's its own now like sort of mini game that people play where you can kind of bluff with it. If people know you have your ult or think you have your ult, you can just charge right at them, and they're trying to get stunned. Like, they don't want to fight you necessarily like normally because they don't want to get earth shattered. So sometimes you can like bluff people and are running for cover and you didn't even have it, or you save it or something. So, and it also just allows him to, you know, get in there and be more aggressive without sacrificing his health bar.
Yeah, it just sounds like another change, almost like how you kind of mentioned like stuff like that Winston combo, kind of, you know, as you're playing and testing and seeing all these different things. Like, yeah, where the Winston combo, you can, you know, load up that secondary fire, come to, like, get the jump damage, land on somebody, take them out. Like, now you kind of have like this like little meta game with like Reinhardt play, right? Where, you know, now you kind of have like this another layer of canceling the charge, you know, being able to. I remember there was one clip, I think, from BlizzCon Line and just like a trailer where he charges towards a team, cancels, and then shatters them all. Being able to make plays like that just seems so sick.
He's also got the ability to control his charge more, so you can actually turn around corners more.
Oh yeah, that's
so
gonna be a bitch.
The charge, while you can cancel it, it's more aggressive and it's more versatile.
Oh yeah. It's just gonna be fucking annoying. I can already tell.
If you look at if people have noticed what's happening with Zarya, is she has 2 charges to her bubble now.
Oh, I knew when she put on her self bubble, it was a little faster than normal.
So as people probably noted,
because like, it was 2.
You know, some of those changes were a lot of them were just silly, kind of fun, like permanently flying Sigma. But you know, there were some changes we threw in there. I was like, let's see how people react to this. I'm curious what people think. Like maybe this is something we can try. And the Zarya bubbles is one of those things. So,
Aaron, you know,
that's something we just recently kind of put in.
I love how Blizzard does stuff for their game, like just for fun. And sometimes just to see. Sometimes you just gotta see. I love that. Why are they trying to make me buy their game?
I always wanted to play Reinhardt this way, basically. You know, the charge in and
yeah, we were joking about that the other day, where I'm like, yeah, like the canceling the charge just feels so right that but you're so like trained to kind of how it is, like where you're just charging into walls, right? That I was like, wait, I don't have to do this anymore. No. Like I can just go. Like it's such like a great quality of life change.
Yeah, something else I think that's really interesting here is this, like, this fight's been going on for a while. Neither tank has fallen. And the support had been doing such a good job at keeping the tanks up, because there's only one of them that they have to actually focus on.
And a sniper
the fights
magnet.
feel really, really good being the tank player now. Like, the amount of times you get into this situation where it feels hopeless. You're low on health. There's a bunch of the enemy players focusing on you, and you're able to still come out of it. It feels so incredibly good, and you feel really powerful.
True.
Yeah, it's I think that has to be something that you guys have kind of gotten in feedback, that from a support's point of view, you're able to dump resources into just one tank,
that's what
and
I was
also
thinking
probably
of.
frees you up to do a little bit of other stuff, right? Where Batiste can do a little bit more damage. You know, Zen, you can kind of orb the tank and then focus on the damage. That
that's
probably
exactly
has to be
what
way
I
easier
do.
in supports now.
For sure. Yeah, we got a lot of feedback from support players. It's a lot easier to focus, and a lot of times you almost have this like communication between the two support players, and you know, you have like Mercy's like, I'm just going to be, you know, on tank duty and just be on tank basically the whole time, and you have like a Lucio or something like that just to spot heal everybody else and you can speed everybody up. But there's other strats. Like sometimes we've seen people go too big heal, you know, main healers essentially, and try to just focus so hard on their tank that even with like Discord Orb on them, it's just hard to kill them. So that's going to be an interesting strat too. So I'm not even sure like what their quote-unquote meta is entirely yet, especially because we're changing things all the time. I guess it's pretty hard for them to settle, but it's been a lot of fun.
This Zen UI is new.
Oh yeah.
It actually looks really cool. This is something
really
obviously that's incredibly new. I think on live, like it's kind of displayed on the right.
Yeah, we're generally looking through this.
Go ahead. Sorry, Jeff.
I was saying we're generally looking at anywhere we can improve hero-specific UI stuff like this, and we felt like this could use, you know, a big update and be a lot more readable.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm most excited about with the healer UI is it's not just on Zen, but it's on Mercy also. You see the portrait of the player that you're healing, and so it's just a lot easier to kind of figure out who you've got instead of just using something like a nameplate. You know,
I think it's cool. I've never seen this type of
it's like
sequel idea.
So you're able to still kind of focus down the middle.
At first, when I saw Overwatch 2 was basically going to be still Overwatch, but just kind of different, I was like,
shown on each side of the.
But that's kind of a cool idea to have a sequel to a game
we have an overtime
completely focused on being better than the original.
Starting to get pretty sweaty now.
But like more of the same still. So you still get that game, but better. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting.
This has
right
really been. I gotta say, for you guys, probably.
You would think why not just do that updates,
like the
but
game actually be.
at a certain
It's one
point,
thing
you
I
just
think
gotta
to play,
be
but
like,
now to
all
like
right, we gotta
observe and be able to watch, and
start from
obviously, you know, the
something
people
else.
you guys work with every day. This has to be. Pretty
This would have been a crazy update though. A bunch of new maps, a bunch of new UIs,
We've been
new
playing in
abilities.
this state for a long
That should
time
have
too,
been
and
like,
it's
what
always,
game is this? Yeah, you better
it's
pay for
always
this
so
shit.
tough
Yeah, I
to,
get why they do this.
to play a game a certain way.
If I'm making
at
all
work,
new
and
maps
then
and
go
shit, you
home
better
and
pay a
it
full price
operates
game
in
for
a
this.
totally different way, and you're playing with people online, and you can't help but think like, if only you knew like, what I was playing, you know, every day. And so it feels really good to have that out in front of our community, so they can kind of see what we've been doing.
I'm excited.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool, man. I can't wait for this game now. Why do they do this to me, bro? Oh well. That's all I'm gonna do for the Overwatch stuff. If you enjoyed the video, like the video. If you didn't, dislike the video, but leave a good comment in the comment section below, and I'll fuck with y'all later. Peace. Keep your head up.